Hey guys, we're going to be talking about my favorite anime in a tier list today. Let's do this thing. Let's start off strong with this amazing anime, Slime Isekai. So that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Um, so this is the thing like about this anime is that I don't really like this show because I don't really like isekai. And in my opinion, I watched the first half of the first season. And I think if you watch at least half of the first season of something and you still don't like it at that point, then you gotta say that it's not good, right? I know that's a hot take. I know that like people enjoy isekai and all that stuff, but in my opinion, I just did not like where it was going. Because, like, okay, I could spend a whole eternity on this show, but what I will say is that that time I got reincarnated as a slime was just not interesting. It was boring. There was nothing that I could see going on, and I'm not really sure where it would go from there. So, in my opinion, I'm putting it in the garbage. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so Aoshi. This is like it's a pretty cool soccer show. And I heard it was really, really good. And I watched the first two episodes, but like I just wasn't really into it. So I don't think I've really seen enough, in my opinion, to really understand. So I'm gonna put it in the haven't seen enough. Oh my gosh. We have domestic girlfriend in Okay, I'm not going to talk about this a lot, but it's a pretty solid show. Yeah, you got to put it in B tier. Not going to lie, it's crazy. Discretion advised. User discretion, viewer discretion advised. Just be careful when watching that show. Okay, Angel spoils me rotten. My friend keeps telling me to watch this. I honestly, you know, I thought it was like decent because the first episode is what I watched, and I watched it all the way through, and I treated it as something that I would, maybe watch again, but I just didn't really see enough. So like, it's not that good, but I'm not saying whether or not. Okay, so this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's really cool because JoJo is amazing. It's fantastic. It's got all these, like you say, bizarre adventures. And it's a very different and unique show as far as like, shonen fights. They have these weird characters that have these weird powers, and you're not really sure about how they really work. And it leaves you a little dumbfounded, I would say, because you get to this point where everyone has their own stand, but their stand can pretty much do anything. So as a whole, I liked part one. It was just, JoJo, Jonathan Joestar. He was pretty interesting character. So it's definitely watchable. But overall, I'm going to say like C tier because there are a lot of times in this show where I'm just not really sure whether or not it's very fun. And in my opinion, I think that the first season was great. Like it talked about, kind of the London area, and I liked that. The setting was good. Dio was insanely evil, right? He eventually, what happened was that they threw some fire and started to burn down Jonathan's house after he poisoned his father. And so like he was trying to murder his father while he also was trying to basically just destroy JoJo's life. It's pretty crazy, and I'm glad that JoJo basically won, defeated him. But then he kind of got that like, oh, I'm actually not dead, and that was crazy. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. Okay, so the thing about Insomniacs After School, what's great about this show is that you can't really, you can't really underestimate it because it just, I think it's a little bit of a slow burn, but I just wasn't really in the mood this season for that. And so I'm going to put it in the haven't seen enough tier. There's a lot that I could say about it, but I think the characters are pretty interesting. They have this thing where they're just kind of playful with each other, and that's hard to do in anime because there's a lot of fan service in anime, but in this show, it's more about, well, not so much as fan service as just like these two people kind of building a genuine connection over, well, they're having trouble sleeping, so they explore the night, but they're at school together and they they work on stuff as, members of the astronomy club. And it's actually pretty good. So I watched the first 3 episodes, haven't seen enough, so I'm just not gonna really touch that. But it is overall a pretty good show. It's well made. It has pretty much everything going for it. I just wasn't really in the mood for something that slow this season. Okay, yeah, I will say that the pacing was kind of slow. All right, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Man, this is classic, right? As far as like my favorite anime and watchable stuff, I'm just gonna put it in C, because like this is my opinion, but S tier is like masterpiece, truly the greatest anime of all time. A plus is something that is almost there, like just something is missing, and like it's just not perfect, And then A tier is that's like really solid. Like I would recommend that to pretty much anyone. Just because it's really great. And also, like, some of my favorites can sneak in there. But this anime tier list is basically what I think is my personal favorite anime. It's not really what I think objectively are the best anime, because that would be slightly different. And so what I will say is that Yu-Gi-Oh! is kind of revolutionary. It made us all buy the cards, right? I had the cards, my friends had the cards, and we played those duels, and we did the computer games, and we did the, I even still sometimes I'll play the Duel Monsters on Xbox right now, and that's just a fantastic game as well. But no, yeah, I really think that it was fantastic. It just as looking back, kind of objectively, it's like, it's not bad. Like, if I turned on the best episode of that show right now, oh yeah, I definitely could watch it. But I think that other than that, like kind of just the regular shows, it's just watchable. So C tier is like, it's definitely watchable. Like I wouldn't. D tier is like, no. 99% of the time, don't watch. Garbage is like, don't watch, don't even start it. Okay, so Call of the Night. This was really interesting because the premise was really cool, because she was the vampire and she did all these crazy things like take him flying. The main character, they're in love with each other, or they're trying to fall in love with each other. And Call of the Night was kind of how do I say? It had this undertone of like, will they, won't they sort of thing, and like kind of exploring what a true friendship is, but also like, what does it mean to fall in love? How do you know if you love someone? Why do certain people, make you feel a certain way in romance, right? And so this is like a classic shonen romance anime where, there's some funny stuff in there. There are some like quirky, characters. That one girl that's a vampire, that she's like in the maid cafe, that was so funny. Like I remember laughing out loud in episode 11 because that girl did the moi moi kyun dance, where like, it did this crazy animation where it was like all cheery and colorful, and then that guy just like sat there and then drank the coffee that she poured, and he was like, yeah, that's pretty good. It was just so underwhelming in that moment, like the two very different reactions. I just thought that was pretty funny. It was a great, that's what, it's sad to say, but that's what I remember from that anime the most. But no, it was a good show. It just kind of went to the back of my mind because there have been so many good shows last year that honestly, it just kind of like didn't really make that much of an impact. But I will put it in B tier. It's definitely good. Well, I mean, is it better? I don't know. I'll have to think. Okay, so this is Classroom of the Elite. I mean, this is going in the this is going in like A plus tier, like high A plus tier. Classroom of the Elite is a show about a guy, Ayana Koji, who is so smart that he manipulates every single person in exactly the way he wants them to be manipulated. He almost never misses. Like, even if he does kind of miss, he doesn't really, because he planned for that to happen. He just kind of saw it going a little bit differently. But this guy is, as far as, I think if you want to talk about smartest characters in anime, Shikamaru, Light Yagami, L from Death Note, Dr. Stone, and you're gonna put Ayana Koji in there because, as far as people who know human intuition, who know human psychology, it's gotta be Ayana Koji. I mean, he is the smartest character in anime in that because he knows exactly how everything will play out based on people's emotions, which people's emotions are, they change. They're not really stable. They're the worst kind of variable. So I'm not sure how he even really does that. So that's what I'm saying. Clearly an A anime, a high A plus tier. Not even close. I mean, and the girl in there, Horikita, she is amazing. She has like the will, like the strongest will of all time. I've never even seen an anime character that is just so set in their ways. But then it's so funny because like her brother bullies her. And so you see this juxtaposition of a girl who almost will go through anything, like will literally cut Ayana Koji just to get what she wants. But at the same time, like, she's scared of her brother. Which is crazy, you'd think that, like, why would she be scared of him? But like, I think because he just bullies her, like, and he's smarter than her too. And so like, she's kind of smart, but she's nowhere near as smart as those two. And Ayana Koji, smartest character in that show, obviously. Definitely looking forward to season 3. Yeah, Inuyasha. I mean, I haven't seen enough. Like, I've seen the first 5 episodes, but that's like not even making a scratch in anime, honestly. And so I'm sad to say that, like, I would love to watch that show because I think it's really cool because, like, I like the girl in it. She's kind of adventurous, She travels to, another world. Basically, not really. It's actually Edo, Japan. I think it's Edo. But it's kind of like historical Japan where there are villages and stuff and there's no technology. And that's what I'm saying is, like, it's very cool. And there are like these demon things that the guy, I think his name is Inuyasha, that he has to fight. And like, he's not exactly so much into her as far as like, how do I say, romantically. But I think that, in my opinion, you've got to just put it as like something you have to watch. But if you're not going to like continue it, it's understandable. Because I kind of gave up on it after 5 episodes. Because I think the pacing is just incredibly slow, like way too slow. It's just, that's what I'm pretty much have to say about that. Okay, here we go. Bunny Girl Senpai. Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. This is an A. Here's why it's not A+, because there are some episodes that are kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the one with the Fukabe or Fukubashi or something. The sciencey girl that helps Sakata out. I just don't really like her, her character much. So like, I'm not really sure as like why, or or not why, but what I'm saying is like I don't personally see it being better than A because there are times where it's kind of slow, but I do think that the banter between Sakata and Mai is just unrivaled. It's incredible. It's it's completely sarcastic, but at the same time, it's very sweet, almost not so much sweet as like satisfying, because it's like they kind of argue with each other in a sarcastic way, but then Sakata kind of pokes through like her emotions and kind of like gets to her core, kind of presses her buttons a little bit. And he's a little bit better at it than she is with him, because she's pretty good at like formulating a theory that she kind of is like, oh, well, you like this girl, right? Oh, well, I know that you like this girl because of this reason. She reminds you of that girl that you saw that, you were in love with. And then he was like, oh, yeah, kind of. And then she was like, well, it's okay. I understand that you liked her, but, she's like, well, you like me, right? And then he's like, yeah, of course. So I think that it's a very touching story. And like I said, you really appreciate Mai because she's very, how do I say, genuine. Like, she's very blunt sometimes, but that makes her such a good character because she doesn't do the whole like tsundere thing where she gets mad at Sakata for no reason. But like she, there's some actual kind of rough stuff going on in that show, and so like, it makes sense that or it makes sense that she does act out sometimes, but that's not like, that's just a normal human emotion. That's not anything wrong with that. I mean, just the romance in that story is pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we got a lot of romance anime on here. Tonikawa Over the Moon for You is a show. No, I'm just kidding. It's so good. It is really good. Is it better than Bunny Girl Senpai? Right now I'm enjoying. See, the thing about Bunny Girl Senpai is you only got one season, and yeah, you got a movie, but it didn't really wrap up everything perfectly. So, in my opinion, as a whole, I think I enjoyed Bunny Girl Senpai a little bit more. It's like Tonikawa, the first 5 episodes were fantastic. The next 7 or so, not great till the end of the season. Season 1, I basically would have put it like 5 out of 10. But now season 2, they're all, every single one of them, bangers. Like, they're okay. Besides that one where they get that cat, that one was pretty stupid. But other than that, like the other 10 episodes have been like amazing. They've been fantastic. So it's just it's honestly an A anime as far as romance goes. You got to put it behind Bunny Girl Senpai though. Very, very close. I think that you can say that Tonikawa Over the Moon for You it's these two characters that are husband and wife, right? So like, it's very different than all other romance anime because it kind of makes sense, right? Like, they're not being, they're not acting improperly, or they're not like confused about what their relationship is. They're married, and so they get married in the first episode, and it's like they just try to figure out married life. And there's this beautiful episode in season 2, episode 11, where I believe it's 11, it just premiered, where they talk about what is love, like, why do you get married? And the girl Tsukasa is like, she says that the thing about marriage is that you love someone to make sure you make a bond eternally. And they touch on this. I didn't even know this, but like, did you know that ancient Egypt, they would place a ring around a person's left a ring finger or whatever, because they had a symbol of eternity was like a circle, was like a ring. And so that's why they put like a ring on the man, ring on the woman, so that they would say, hey, they're bonded eternally forever. And so that's what's kind of crazy is like, I didn't know that. That's so like part of the tradition started there, but obviously Adam and Eve were the first two people, in history to be married. So, they bonded with each other, and that's why we have marriage in the first place. The show doesn't say that. They say that, basically they think that it is like sort of a promise to the universe, i.e., God. And so, like, they kind of get all squishy on that. But yeah, obviously it started with God, establishing marriage between a man and a woman. So here we go. Eminence in the Shadow. Yeah, I mean, this is garbage. Like, don't watch this show. It's basically just like this weird power fantasy thing where it's probably not the worst show of all time. Slime is probably better. Oh yeah, we're ranking the garbage. Slime is probably better than Eminence in the Shadow, but like, it's not that great. It's just not good. Attack on Titan. So this is actually a really good show. And it is better than like Bunny Girl Senpai and Tonikawa. Attack on Titan is the anime that most people think of when they think of anime, right? Like, obviously, there's Full Metal Alchemist, but that's more of like if you're a fan of shonen. But if you just watch anime and you can withstand some gore, Attack on Titan, like, even for regular people, this was people's favorite show. Like, I know people that their favorite show is Attack on Titan, and they don't even watch any other anime. They like watch live action stuff, and Attack on Titan is their favorite show. I mean, I did a whole entire 7-minute review on it. So what I will say is that yes, it is a historic anime that I think is probably, top 10 of all time, objectively. But in my personal opinion, I don't really love it. I'm going to put it in A because it was really great. I binged with the whole thing in like a week, less than a week. And so now I'm going to watch the finale this year, 2023, at the end. But what I will say is there are certain characters that are fantastic. I love to watch them. Other characters, sorry, I don't care about Flock. Like, who? Flock? Why is he even in that show? I don't even like him. So that's what I'm saying is like, there are certain characters that I just don't really care about. And it's a majority of them, sorry. Like, I like Levi. He's my favorite. I like Aaron, basically, I like Mikasa. Harmon is okay. And then I like Zoe Hanji. Other than that, I don't really like Jean. Didn't care too much about Sasha. Corey, Conroy, whatever that dude's name is, Connie, I just did not like him. I don't understand why people liked him. But yeah, I will say that honestly, it's just not that great of like character writing as far as the other people that are there. Because like they're kind of disposable, expendable. So like they can die at any time. So they're just written that way. So like, oh, I'm just going to write this character to die. Okay, that's fine. But that doesn't really, make them, that doesn't give you enough opportunity to actually make them a good character. But no, with all that Attack on Titan kind of critique that I have, it's an A anime. It was great. It was good. I like to watch it. I enjoyed it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic. But I just don't think it's perfect, and everyone else thinks it's perfect. So Heavenly Delusion, I haven't seen enough of this. I'm sorry, but I will say that, I want I want to say it's great, but honestly, I'm just going to say, haven't seen enough, honestly. That first fight in it was insane. Yeah, I don't even remember this one. It's like the Raven Impress or something. That wasn't good at all. It was kind of garbage. But I could put it in haven't seen enough. Like, I guess it could be a D tier anime. I don't know. I'm just going to put garbage. Overlord, let's go. Okay, so this is like, yeah, this is A tier. Not as good as Attack on Titan, but Overlord was really great because it was this anime where an isekai where I actually enjoyed, right? Like, it wasn't this isekai that was kind of stupid or played out. It was really different than the rest. And so I really enjoyed that, I think that the part about him getting trapped in the game, that was cool because now we don't really see his outside world life or whatever, So I'm kind of immersed in the show now, which is great because I do like being immersed, rather than them kind of saying, well, this is a video game. It's not a video game to me because, all those characters or whatever, they're very important in the show. And so I kind of like suspend my belief a little bit, suspend my disbelief a little bit. And I just say, you know what? I'm just going to pretend these people are real in the show. And that's one thing I touched on this in my Isekai video that I hate about Isekai is like, it almost seems like it doesn't matter, right? Like it almost seems that Overlord is not really that great. But when I kind of like say, oh, well, I'm not actually going to think of it as a video game. I think it is definitely up there as far as like a material. Okay, so Rent-A-Girlfriend, yeah. Personally, I like Rent-A-Girlfriend more than Classroom of the Elite. And this is like, obviously, this is not going to be a perfect thing, right? Like, this is just a personal opinion of mine. But Rent-A-Girlfriend, it's amazing. I did a whole video on it. I'll be doing reaction episodes to season 2 or season 3. My mistake. Season 2 was fantastic. I loved it. It had so many great moments where Sumi-chan, she literally was like crying because she was just trying to help Kazuya, and it was just the greatest thing ever. Like she planned out this little date for them. And it was just so sweet. And then you have Mizuhara that's like, working so hard and doing, man, she's just the best character of all time. She's my favorite female anime character. She does so many things for Kazuya, and she like works to help her family, and do all that stuff. And it's just very rewarding to see her, succeed, but then also like, it's heart-wrenching, it's crushing when she fails or like something bad happens to her, and it's just like, man, you just want to be there for her, because she works so hard, and it's like you just love that character. But at the same time you think, well, Kazuya is not really doing what he should do, and so you're kind of hoping that they get together in the end, but like you want Kazuya to grow exponentially as a person. And I think he's growing in season 2. I think he grew a lot. And that's what I'm saying is like, he's actually concerned about her and like, well, you've been working so hard. So I read online that these like pickled plums are good for you. And then she was like, man, you're such an idiot, but I appreciate it. And it was a very sweet birthday present. But yeah, Rent-A-Girlfriend, I just like it so much. It's such a personal preference that, I understand people are going to dog on me for that, but I just love it, Sorry, but not sorry, honestly. Okay, Kakaguri, this is like an A+ anime. I mean, is it better than Classroom? So when I first saw this anime, I thought it was like my favorite anime of all time, and I've grown a lot since then. So it's kind of like nostalgia for me because I watched it back in, 2019. So it's been 4 years before all my anime journey. And so like season 2 absolutely slapped. It was insanely good. Actually, now that I think about it, it's been a little bit longer than that. But anyways, yeah, Kakegurui was so good. It had so many intense, suspenseful moments. I just really thought it was like one of the most fantastic shows because it just kept you wanting more, right? And that's what a great show does. So I'm definitely gonna put it as like right behind Rent-A-Girlfriend. Sorry, Classroom of the Elite. Classroom of the Elite is no slouch. Like it's good, but oh my gosh, look at all these different anime that I have to keep talking about. Okay, Evangelion. This is a masterpiece. Personally, I think that if you are depressed, you're gonna love this anime. I was definitely not. I was like in college, and I was very stressed out, and like I had so much stuff to do, and I didn't really have time for like friends and stuff. And so like right before bed, I would watch a couple episodes of like Evangelion just to fall asleep, and it was just the best thing ever. It was like it it made you feel so sad, but like it almost made you feel like, oh, someone understands me, like someone understands what I'm going through. And that's what I'm saying is like I really appreciated that. And I thought that, the creator really nailed what was going on with Shinji. And it's hard for me to say of like, you know, in my opinion, I think it's one of the top 5 anime of all time. Like, it's just so good. Like, they just did such a good job. But like, that's gonna be objective. I am personally saying, I think that it's better than like Classroom of the Elite, but and I hate to say that because like Classroom of the Elite is super duper good, but I think that season 2 kind of like, slowed things down, and so like I think it will eventually, it might surpass some of these, but it's definitely going to be. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a masterpiece. Like the music, the opening, it was crazy. It was fantastic. It was something that like you never thought would appear on television, where it had like cinematic quality of storytelling, and like, Katsuragi is like kind of the millennial that's like not very sharp, not very well put together, but she is kind of tenacious, and she has a big heart, but she also like has a duty to her country that she feels, but it's also tied to her past. And she's such a great character, and all these people are pretty great characters, honestly. Like, don't even get me started on Asuka, where like she she had a terrible backstory, so I'm not even gonna like touch that. But it was definitely a solid anime, one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, Hyoka. Okay, so I'm like 4 or 5 episodes left. I mean, this is high quality. If there was a B+ tier, I'd put it in B+. I think that just Overlord has a little bit more bingeability to it since it's action. So I'm going to put Hyoka in B. I mean, it's the best B tier there is. Like, it's slice of life, so I don't see it going much higher. Like, it's not that higher than A, but I will say that it's definitely a solid show, Rurouni Kenshin. I just haven't seen enough. The first episodes were good, but the animation was just bad. Millionaire Detective. It's watchable. It's probably better than like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I'd say. It's pretty good. It's only like 13 episodes. It's just one season. It's about this guy who like has these gadgets and stuff, and he's basically like Batman. Not really, but like he's the very not simplistic, but like very realistic version of Batman, where he basically pays for all the damages that he does, and then he has an unlimited account balance. So like he can do whatever he wants to. He can fly a jet and then have a car pop out of it and parachute down or whatever. It's pretty good. The story's decent. It was a little confusing, but I think that it played out pretty well. Yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, so Jujutsu Kaisen is really great because it honestly is like fantastic. It's one of the I think that after season 1 it was really great. It's definitely better than Overlord. It's definitely better than these. So it's like right behind Attack on Titan. Is like I think that season 2 will really do it justice. But I mean, A is good because it just had kind of a sick story, and like it almost felt like it got cut off, right? Like it was this point of where you definitely could have seen it going much, much higher, and there's a lot more story to tell. But I think that one of the major selling points is, that this anime has incredible fight scenes. They're really unmatched. You know what I'm saying? They're not really gonna get. You can't get much better than that as far as like a shonen goes, because they're. I think that the emotional fights are kind of lacking in the first season, but I think that they do a good job. Honestly, I think the characters are better written than most shonen anime. So that's why I'm saying is like Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be crazy, but it's just like it hasn't reached its full potential yet. I think you could put it at like A plus, high A plus, maybe at the end of like 4 or 5 seasons or whatever. When it comes to a conclusion, you could put it an S. But right now it's just like it's just not there yet. Great Pretender. This was watchable. It was better than was it better than Millionaire Detective? No, it kind of drug on for too long. But it was pretty good. It was like this guy who's a con man who tricked this kid to being a con man, even though he was already a con man. And it's these like heist genre where there's a secret within a secret within a secret reveal within a reveal, and it just gets a little bit too convoluted by the end. But I think it was pretty decent. It was funny. It had a little bit of different things going on, and each little arc they went to like a different city. So that was cool. It was like Shanghai or something, and then they went to Paris one time. It's pretty cool. They were in LA for a little while, but it wasn't the best. So the first season of Full Metal Panic is definitely going to be up there as like a B. I think that if you want to say Call of the Night was like a little bit better and Hyoko was a little bit better. But honestly, Full Metal Panic was really pretty good. I'm going to put it in high B because I'm not even talking about, I haven't seen the second season. And so I haven't seen the 2018 kind of conclusion to that. And I should probably watch that. But what was really great was that Kaname was such a good character. And yeah, she was a tsundere, but I didn't mind it, right? I thought it was kind of justifiable because, it was almost to the point of a gag comedy. And so that's what they did. The second season, they did Fumafu, which was literally just a gag comedy, gag anime. And that was funny and that was good. But the first season was pretty good. It almost reached that wackiness level, but it didn't. And so that's what I like. I don't want something to be too wacky. And so I think that it was, probably better than these shows. Definitely better than these watchable shows. It was more than watchable. If you watch the first season, you'll enjoy it. And it was such a good, how do I say, thing. It was such a good, it had such a different sort of take on the mecha genre because they spent a lot of the time outside of the mecha, which was great, and they had actual gunfire and stuff, and actual death. So it's pretty good. And so do it yourself. This, I just haven't seen enough. It's pretty interesting, but it's like a slice of life or whatever, and it's whatever. Okay, Spy Family, here we go. Spy Family is great. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first half, basically Spy Family Part 1, and I'm going to take Spy Family Part 2, and I'm going to average them together. I'm not going to do this thing of the overarching theme. No. I mean, see, the manga has really influenced me a lot, and once you get to the manga, no spoilers, I promise. Once you get to the manga, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a lot better. And so that's why I think that you really have to sort of wait on Spy Family, of it getting a little bit better. And that's what I'm saying is Spy Family is definitely going to be up there as far as a solid anime. So I'm going to put low A tier because I think that, part 1 was high A tier. And then you put part 2 that's low B tier, and it's somewhere in the middle. It's not a B tier anime. It's good, But, well, is it better than Overlord? Yeah, it's better than Overlord. I'd watch Spy Family more so than Overlord. Is it better than Tony Cow Over the Moon? Yeah. Is it better than Bunny Girl Senpai? Well, that's a difficult question. But yeah. Is it better than Jujutsu Kaisen? Let me think about that. I might come back to that. I don't think it is. Based on the 24 episodes or whatever span. Because it was pretty funny, but I don't really think that there weren't enough mature themes. Like, I am a, I am someone who's in my, early to mid 20s. So, the comedy's not really my game anymore, right? It's sort of the wacky, little cute humor stuff, not really my stuff. I think that Jujutsu Kaisen does a little bit better. Just kind of like it's more serious. Kubo won't let me be invisible. This show is like, yeah, it's right behind Tony Kawa. Like Tony Kawa season 2, better than this thing, but like Tony Kawa season 1, not better than this. So like on average, it's just slightly better. I think these romance anime are pretty good in line. It's about this guy that he wants to not be, well, it's not that he doesn't care about being invisible. It's just Kubo thinks that it's kind of interesting where he's invisible to the world. And so and even to like, stores, right? Like there's this store or whatever that has an automatic sensor and he just can't be sensed by it. So like he's invisible. And so that's what I'm saying is like, I think that he is, I think that show is very solid. It's very cute, very wholesome. I've done a video on it, so you go watch that. So I won't talk about it too much, but it's definitely good. Samurai Champloo, this absolutely slapped. Is it better than Classroom of the Elite? I don't know. I think the ending definitely was, but I think that overall it wasn't as good as these other shows. Definitely a solid show. But geez, look at all these other shows I have to go through. Yeah, I definitely think that it was a fantastic sort of show about, it was like Cowboy Bebop. The guy who produced it was the same guy, the creator of Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy 2. But yeah, I think that honestly, Samurai Champloo was so good because it had these episodic adventures. And at the very end, it was a very cool ending. I won't spoil it for you, but it was definitely like a solid ending that was honestly better than the rest of the show. Like the episodic adventures were pretty good. And there were some that really stood out, but they were nowhere near like Cowboy Bebop, like the tales he had to tell about that show. Kill a Kill. This was pretty solid. The ending was like meh. Yeah, it's definitely better than like. Is it better than Full Metal Panic? It's better than Hyoka. But yeah, I think it is better. Because it was pretty interesting. It was just a show about, like kind of being comfortable in your own skin, no matter the clothing you wear. And it was like, yeah, it was a little weird, but the animation was fantastic. So like, yeah, it's probably not the, most wholesome anime. Definitely not. It's kind of fan servicey, but it is pretty solid. Yeah, My Dress Up Darling, that's kind of garbage. I don't understand. Like, there's no reason to watch that, honestly. Like, it wasn't interesting. There was no story. There was no plot. He just made, cosplay get-ups for her. And so I'm not really sure what, like, appealed about it. It's kind of like slice of life, Psychopaths, yeah, so I've only seen season 1. So this is a heavy disclaimer. Season 1 of Psycho-Pass is what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about anything else. Nothing else. All right? That's the only thing I've seen. That by itself, S. It is fantastic. Like, the whole thrill ride of like each episode is something new and crazy going on, and it's this science fiction, crazy world thing where like, it was such a cool premise that I think that, it doesn't have anything to do with all these other shows that I've watched. I've never seen another science fiction show like this, basically. And so that's what I'm saying is like, it's kind of its own thing. So I'm going to put it at the top because each episode is great and there's nothing really wrong with it. I don't really like what, Akane, the main character's choice in the end. But I've said it, I've kind of thought about this and it's like, it wasn't bad. So it was hot. It was very, very, very good. Just a solid all around show. It was, like I said, there was nothing really wrong with it. So it's pretty perfect. Oh man, the ending was so good. It came to such a satisfying conclusion. The Rolling Girls, that's garbage. There's this one YouTube video. It's called, I believe it's called Fight by AESTS. And it's one of the most just amazing music video type thing. And it's sick. Like, it basically blends all of the best parts of Rolling Girls into one thing. Like, there's this great fight scene. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this show. It's so sick. And then I watched it, and I was like, this is terrible. It's going nowhere. So it's garbage. My Love Story. This is our first D. Because it is not bad. Like, it's just that, like, this stuff is watchable. It's just not watchable. Like, I could have finished it, and yeah, it wasn't bad. It had some good parts because it's like basically this guy who is so insecure and he thinks that like, he's never had a girlfriend before and he thinks that all girls hate him, but this one girl actually likes him. And then they finally get together and that's like the beginning of the show. And then beyond that, it's like, I don't really care because they both kind of like each other now. But he is pretty interesting character. I think he's great. So, but yeah, I will say that one of the things about the show is like, it is different. I believe it's Chinese, so I don't know. Fairy Tale. This is going to be, oh man. Well, it's better than Overlord. But it's not better than these other shows. Fairy Tale, in my opinion, is A, because it's like the whole thing. And I read the manga for the last part because they hadn't animated it yet. And so what I really liked about Fairy Tale was that simply it was a great show. Like, it wasn't, it was kind of, it dragged on for a long time. But, it was one of my first anime that I really kind of took a liking to. It was kind of the next, I watched Naruto and then I watched this. And so, like, I really enjoyed it, I think that the anime only arcs are terrible. Like, they're probably the worst piece of trash I've ever seen. So I skipped all the filler. Well, I mean, I didn't skip it. I saw parts of it. I saw a lot of it, but not all of it. And it was just like, the whole Fairy Tale guild is insane. Like, it's this show about, anyone being a part of a guild, and that's cool. And, Nux Taku did an entire, hour-long video of why, like, Fairy Tale is actually, like, how good it is. It's actually good. And not by, like, it's good because it's bad, or it's bad because it's good. It's like, no, it is a genuinely, not interesting, but like, basically like, fun show. And so I think that that's where I put it, is like, because it's kind of a little bit of nostalgia, but like, if there was a B+ tier, I would put it in that, but like we might make one a B plus, and I put it at the top of B plus. But like, you know, I think it doesn't deserve to be higher. Well, is it better than Overlord? You know, I think I might have Overlord too high. I'm gonna put Overlord in the B tier and then put this in high B tier. I think that's a little bit better. Black Clover. I just have not seen enough of it. I know that the main dude is like really good, but Pokemon. Pokemon is more watchable than Yu-Gi-Oh! At times. Overall, yes. Is Pokemon better than the rest of these? Overall, yeah. I think if you want to put on like the best shows, yeah. But I'm just mainly talking about the Indigo League because other than that, like the Johto was okay, but like a lot of the other stuff, meh, you know. It's a good show, what can I say? But you know, I have some nostalgia for it, so I'm definitely gonna like some of the movies, they're not bad, so I will definitely put that as like high C tier. Don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro. Yeah, this is like A. It's honestly better than Bunny Girl Senpai just by like a hair. And I've done 2 videos on it now. And one of them was my most watched videos. But yeah, I think that this one is definitely like up there as far as romance anime goes. It's about a girl who bullies her senpai, but she kind of falls in love with him because he's a pretty decent guy. And she, you know, she's very, very bashful, very shy about love and stuff like that because she just doesn't know how to express her emotions. Because like she would do it through like physical affection, but she's kind of scared because of the social, you know, backlash of like dating someone who is kind of weird and like not very popular in school. But she takes a liking to him, and I think it's honestly a beautiful story. And in the second season, they both grow a lot more, and I think that it's very fun to watch. Like I enjoy watching it every time it premiered. So Konosuba, yeah, this is like, it's better than like most of these shows. Not a Millionaire Detective. Like it's funny, and that's what I'll say about it. It's like it's funny, but not really my thing. Lycos Recoil started out strong, had amazing action, but just did not finish well. High B tier, better than all these shows. You should definitely check it out if you like any sort of action with, you know, cute girls or whatever. But like the ending was weird, man. Like it was such a weird ending. Hopefully they'll do a second season, sort of expand. But yeah, I just haven't seen enough of Noblesse. Yeah, and I know we're ranking these garbage anime too. I think that's a pretty fair way of doing it. We're not ranking these haven't seen enough. Well, we could, but I don't really want to. Yeah, Danganronpa. I think Danganronpa. I think that's how you pronounce it. It was pretty good. I mean, it was watchable. It just like is very bingeable. So I will say it's like Millionaire Detective is actually better. But this is like a show about a guy who like basically he is stuck in this school that is locked down, and they have to figure out, you know, who murdered who, and it's kind of insane. It's like a detective story or whatever, and you know, people are like accusing each other, and he has to like figure out who actually did it. It's actually really interesting, very bingeable show. But other than that, like I watched the first season or whatever. I think that's it. But yeah, it was really weird too. Like the characters were very weird. So Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, I mean, as far as overall, it's B tier because like it's pretty great, but like there are sometimes it's very, very slow pacing. And again, I did an 8-minute video on this. So the only thing I'll say different is like Okay, the king and his fight with Netero, one of the coolest things ever. Hisoka, one of the coolest villains in anime. Uh, the basic premise of the show, pretty good. It's your typical shonen, but it's just not A tier. Sorry, for me personally. I haven't seen enough of this show. It's the We Never Learn show. It's not bad. It's about a guy who like tutors these girls, and he has sort of a harem, but not really. It's not that bad. The Danger's in My Heart. Yeah, that's garbage, but it's kind of better than. It's like this show that a guy that wants to murder people, but the girl in this class kind of like basically cures him of being a serial killer by just being cute and wholesome and like sweet to him. This was garbage. Love and Lies. It's like a government system where like they match you with a partner, and like he gets matched supposedly with the wrong person, but he ends up wanting to be with that girl. But then he also wants to be with his crush that he finally told her how he felt. It was started out really well, and then got weird. And it was like, I think he's trying to date both of them at the same time, which is weird. That's trash. My Girlfriend is a Gal. It's about this, guy who gets a girlfriend who is kind of like a very, how do I say? She's kind of like, not exactly very conservative in her dress, in her attire, or her sort of actions. And so like he kind of has to say, well, I want to be your boyfriend. And so he has to kind of overcome that fact that like she's a gal. She's kind of, not very traditional. And he, but it's kind of like, there's nothing really good in it. I thought there was going to be, but not really. Akiba Maid War. This is like low B tier. Because it's pretty good. And like it's very interesting and it's funny. It's got a lot of dark humor. But like, would I recommend this to someone? No. It's kind of wacky. A little bit too wacky for me. And the ending just, like if it had a better ending, I might put it up at like B, like better than Overlord. But it's just not, It's about the show that a girl who wants to become a maid in a cafe, and she does, but like basically everyone in the whole Akibahara area, they're all like murderers, and they'll like all the maids basically have guns and they shoot each other. And so it's like it's kind of cool, but at the same time it's like it's understand that wacky premise is not going to be that great. Yeah, Death Note, it's A+. It's just fantastic. Like Death Note, a battle between the two greatest wits of all time, and it's fantastic. Now the ending was a little weird, so I'm not really sure how that went, but yeah, it's definitely A+ for sure. Blue Exorcist, I have not seen enough. Hajime no Ippo, really solid, but I have not seen enough. But it's definitely better than all of these others. More Than a Married Couple, but not lovers. This is actually a really good show. I watched this. It's kind of fan servicey, but it's good. Like, it's about these high schoolers that have to like live together with each other as a sort of a simulation thing, to learn how to be a good husband, learn how to be a good wife. And like, that's the dumbest premise of all time, but it really works. Like, it only has one season, and like, I think that it's better than, Like vs. Recoil. It's a romance anime, but it's really solid. Like, it's not the the art style is beautiful, and the color palette is, transcendent. And it's amazing. But like, yeah, it gets a little wonky, right? Like it's some weird stuff going on. But I think it's pretty solid, honestly. Like, I like it. 7 Deadly Sins. This had so much potential, but like, if you're talking about the first 2 seasons, put that thing in A tier. If you're talking about the whole thing, I don't know, high C tier. Because like I would watch it over something like, you know, Millionaire Detective, but I wouldn't watch it over like Hyoka or like, you know, Call of the Night or something like that. Sorry, it's just not that good, you know. Season 3 and beyond were atrocious. They were horrible. Like the the animation was awful. So there's no way I would watch that. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like, um, not it started out so good and it was like a great shonen anime with awesome action, but it just failed so hard. Uzaki-chan is garbage. Don't watch that, please do not. It's better than like those, um, but it's just so bad. Please do not watch it. It's like this show about a girl who basically sort of bullies her senpai, but not as bad as Nagatoro does, and like it's weird because like she just wants to hang out with him because he doesn't have many friends, and it just goes nowhere. Oh man, My Hero Academia, sorry, but that's like for me, that's perfect. It's almost perfect. Like the only thing that doesn't really make it perfect is like I think that there's only so much you can do in a show, right? Like you can't cover every topic, but like as far as like my favorite show of all time, it's definitely up there. It's top 10, you know, no doubt. And so that's why you got to put it A+. The fights are super emotional. Yeah, I guess the animation's not fantastic, but like I like the way they do the animation, sort of the art style. And so that's what I'm saying is like it's great, you know, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I think it is objectively the greatest anime of all time. No. But also like I do like it. I do think it's fantastic. And I rewatch all the fights all the time because they're simply insane. Vampire dies in no time. Oh man, I don't know what's worse. No, it's got to be worse than all of those combined. Not gonna lie, it is probably close to one of the worst anime I've ever seen in my life. It was so hard to watch. I tried to watch it. I tried and tried and tried, but it was terrible. Rising Shield Hero. I just haven't seen enough, you know. High Rise Invasion. This was garbage, but it was pretty good garbage. Better than Emerson's Shadow. Probably not better than Slime Isekai. Kimi ni Todoke, From Me to You, is a romance anime about this guy who, you know, likes this girl, but this girl is just so socially awkward that she can't really understand what, you know, to do. And so like she just is very respectful, very nice. And yeah, I think it's season 2 really dropped off. So, you know, I'd rather watch Lycoris Recall. Probably Fairy Tail and Overlord are better. But like, yeah, and so she's one of the greatest like waifus ever. She's fantastic. She is very good at like being wholesome and sweet and kind, and there's not really a lot wrong with her, and she's super smart too. But like she is a little bit socially inept, and so she doesn't really understand a lot of things. And then they sort of like go to certain other characters, and they're just nowhere near her level. So yeah, I mean, well, was it better than Full Metal Panic? No, probably not. I think Hyoko was better. Hyoko's a little bit more interesting, but From Me to You was pretty cute. So High Score Gal, that's trash. It's not bad trash, but like, it just, nothing happens in it. I'd probably watch Danger's in My Heart more than that. So, it's just this girl that like is good at video games, and they're all 80s style arcade. and this guy just tags along with her. Um, Fruits Basket. So this is like, I haven't watched enough. I've watched the first half of the first season, so like 13 episodes, and so I really want to watch more, but I'm just not really sure if I can get through it. Like, there are just times where I think it's great because it's like this girl who meets all these different guys that are actually a part of the Soma clan, and the Soma family is like, basically they all have these zodiacs, right? They turn into a member of the zodiac whenever they embrace the member of the opposite sex, and so it's actually a very heartwarming and like very you know emotionally and depressing and sad show, but it's a love story too, and so like it's good. I like it. It's awesome, but I just haven't seen enough. So I will put it in the haven't seen enough as the best one, better than Hajime no Ippo. Sorry. I just can't make a decision. Record of Ragnarok. Only reason why it's not garbage is because it has some amazing fights in Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper fight, and he fights Hercules, I believe. Oh, it's one of the coolest thing ever. Okay, so this was garbage. Toradora. It's probably the best garbage out there. It's just a stupid rom-com. Gurren Lagann, I just haven't seen enough of it, so I will put it pretty high up there. Saw the first episode. It was like this weird mecha show thing. They all lived underground. I don't know. It was weird. I'm not gonna say anything really. Okay, Vinland Saga. Yeah. I'm sorry, but this is low D tier. Like, you can watch it, but it's not that interesting. It kind of sucked. Like, basically, it was about these Vikings or whatever, and they, like have fights and stuff. But I don't like a single character. I don't like the premise. I could really care less about everyone in there. So yeah, Spy Classroom. I thought it was going to be really good, but it's kind of garbage. Not going to lie. Well, it wasn't that it's garbage. I just haven't seen too much, but like it's like D tier. Probably better than My Love Story. Yeah, I'd say so. But Bungo Stray Dogs. I mean, this is like low D tier. Probably the best D tier. You definitely can watch it. It's like the show where a guy basically has to, he becomes a tiger, and everyone has a supernatural power. And so it's pretty interesting, but like, the fights are decent, but like the story's meh, and like no one dies. Everybody just like, every single person in the show has a fake out death, and it's the most annoying thing ever. Like, it's so stupid. So I'm definitely not down to watch more of that. I'm not watching season 4. Blue Lock. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, as far as like sports anime, I think Hajime no Ippo is supposedly the best, but this is probably second. So it's like low B tier. Because I watched Occupy Maid War. I finished that, but I did not finish Blue Lock. It's about soccer and being like the best striker there is. It's pretty good. Akame got killed. Overall, yeah, it's like the best B tier there is. The only reason why I don't put it in A tier is like it's pretty good. It's just that like it's a solid show, so I would recommend it, but there are other shows that are better, right? And so this isn't a, hey, well, what do I rate this on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, no, I'm putting it in A. Sorry, low A tier, because it's like, well, it's better than those shows. Not better than Spy Family. So yeah, I'm gonna put an A because now that I think about it, it does have the best top 10 anime fight of all time. At the very end, no spoilers. But yeah, definitely. About a group of assassins that overthrow a country. It's pretty good. One Piece. The One Piece is real. So many great memes. It's watchable, but more than that, sorry, no. It's is it better than those shows? Mostly, for the most part, I will say, yeah. But it's just like I get it. I've only seen 150 or 160 episodes, but man, it's not that good. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's hard to watch. I might end up. I sort of like passively watch the show, so like I'll just watch it if I don't have anything else going on. But yeah, it is pretty rough in the beginning, so I'm getting through it. But it's hard, man. It's hard. 7 Seeds, garbage. Wasn't too bad garbage, but it's garbage. Scissor 7, let's go. I'm just gonna sing all the openings for these, or hum all of them. Oh man, it is better than all of these shows. Oh yeah, put that thing in A+ tier. Keep it going. I might have to rearrange these, but okay, Scissor 7, this guy who's amnesia riddled, and he literally he has chi scissors that he fights with, so scissors that he can control using chi, and it's wacky, it's stupid, but like, man, if these don't have the best fight scenes of all time of anime, it's fantastic. So, put that thing in A+ tier. It's great. The only thing I will say is like the whole sort of thing about like where I think it falls in like storytelling, it's not great. But like, man, if I don't just enjoy the absolute most out of that show, oh man, it is so good. 7 has these amazing fights, great fighting choreography, pretty good animation, not gonna lie. And season 4 blew me away. It was insane. Definitely a great show. Demon Slayer. What can I say? This is see, I'm gonna put it as behind My Hero Academia because like My Hero just puts me in the feels, man. Like season 6, oh, that was so good. Like honestly, the longevity of My Hero kind of beats out Demon Slayer right now. But Demon Slayer, as far as like quality is just insane. It is so good. Season 3, just like you think that it can't get better, but it does. The animation somehow gets better. Okay. Man, jeez. Yeah, so I put Demon Slayer at A+. Got a show about a guy who basically has to save his sister by or avenge his sister because she became a demon and he has to like return her to normal, and so he becomes a demon slayer to do that. So he has to like defeat all of these demons pretty much just so that he can return his sister back to normal. And it's pretty cool. It's great. It's all it is just a bunch of fight scenes. So it's great. This is garbage. Oh, girlfriend, that's garbage. Man, it's better than that show. That's for sure. It's about a guy who has like this harem of girlfriends. Terrible. Romantic Killer, it's not garbage. It's like the worst show that I would watch. Or one of. It's pretty bad. It's basically this girl who like is forced into romance by this weird wizard tiny thing, and it's kind of weird, but it's not bad. It's like it's not the worst thing ever. I just didn't like it too much. Bakano, I have not seen enough. Oh, Love Flops. It's terrible. It's awful. It's like basically this guy is like he meets a bunch of girls and they all hate him at first and then they fall in love with him. It's terrible. And you thought there was Never Girl online. Oh man, that's pretty good. Uh, it's like, is it? It's better than the watch. I mean, there's only one season, so yeah, I will put it as like B tier. It's pretty good, it's not bad. Um, it's it's a little bit of a weird fan service show, but it's got a good heart and soul to it. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the creator is just a weird, crazy guy, but I think it has a pretty solid undertone of sweet and wholesomeness. I think so. Dragon Ball Z. So I'm not really talking about Dragon Ball, and I'm averaging super into this. So like you're gonna put it as like A tier for me personally. Um, uh, it's like probably high A tier because I mean I watched this show as a kid, so my nostalgia is gonna play a role in it, and I'm averaging super into it. So Tournament of Power was so good. I loved watching it. I watched it twice, the Tournament of Power. So yeah, if you average super in there, yeah, there was so much stuff that was bad. But like the highest of the highs kind of beat the rest of these shows. At least for now. At least for now. The Way of the House Husband. This is funny. It's like this guy who used to be a Yakuza member, he becomes a house husband. Is so good. It's actually really, really funny. As for what it is, it's like high B tier. It's funny. It's hilarious. So I'm not going to really say much else about that. Corpse of the Magic Bride. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of that. Oh man, we're getting into some heavy hitters. Kaguya-sama, Love is War. This is such a good show, man. Oh, this is fantastic. I personally, Rent a Girlfriend is my favorite, but like it's right behind it. It's so good. Like it's so funny. Season 3 was, it was such a beautiful masterpiece of like, all these, confluence of all of these different things coming into play. And, in the end, I thought, wow, this is like probably one of the, greatest rom-com animes of all time. It probably is going to go down as the greatest comedy. Well, you could say that. Rom-com animes of all time. A guy and a girl basically go to war verbally, psychologically, of like, hey, I'm going to make you confess. No, I'm going to make you confess. And it's the best thing you've ever seen. It's funny. It's cute. It's wholesome. It's very, wacky sometimes, but it's one of the best shows out there right now. And the guy who created it, Akasaka, props to him for making Oshinoko, because that absolutely slaps too. Okay, we're going to go in a little bit of speed mode because this is taking longer than I thought. The Devil is a part-timer, a little bit of a reverse isekai. It's pretty good. I haven't seen the second season because I kind of dropped it after that. It's like it's C. It's not bad. He comes to work at McDonald's in the real world, and like he figures out like how to sort of get back to the old world. He wants to do that and reconquer. He wants to conquer Earth, but the girl won't let him. And he sort of like sort of dates that girl, but not really. I don't know. And then that girl, Emmy, she like, it's pretty funny. She like is a tsundere and she beats him up sometimes, but like she likes him too. It's not bad. It's not bad. God of High School, this is garbage. It's the best garbage there is. The fights aren't really garbage. They're pretty good. But other than that, the story's pretty bad. Dang, well, I'm going to put it as like D. Because like it is kind of better than these, If you watch it, it's like, it's good, Just the fights. If you watch the fights, that's all you have to do. Boruto, honestly, It's not worse than these, but it's garbage. Obviously Naruto, Boruto, his son, SAO, Sword Art Online. I'm only doing this based off season 1. Season 1 was pretty solid, but it was like, it's watchable. I'd rather watch it than One Piece, I think. So I would put it there. But this is just season 1. I'm not talking about other seasons. Psyche K. Oh, man. This is funny. I love this show. If you're talking about season 1 where they actually had the dub, I just can't follow the sub. Is it better than Way of the House Husband? Yeah. It's pretty good. It's solid. It's just a funny show about this guy who is... He has superpowers, and so he can psychically understand everything everyone's saying. He can communicate telepathically. He has telekinesis. He can move things. He can teleport. All the tele stuff. And it's just a gag manga turned into an anime. So it's funny, Oh, man. Hell's Paradise. This is good. A show about, a guy who has to go and... he has to go and retrieve this elixir of life. Is amazing. The fights, skillful swords, masterful storytelling, and like interesting characters and unique characters that you haven't seen before. Different motivations and subverting your expectations in the right way. I did a whole 5-minute video on this. A+. Right now, it is better than A Classroom of the Elite. Not better than Scissor 7 just yet, but it's pretty close. Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is actually getting really good. I would much rather watch it than a lot of these other shows. Like, Dr. Stone at its peak is like A. Dr. Stone at its peak is not better than Spy Family, but it's pretty darn good. Like, it just makes me laugh. This guy who... is trying to revive all of humanity that was turned to stone, petrified for 3,000 years. It's amazing. Go watch it. Yu Yu Hakusho. This is really solid show. And creator that created Hunter x Hunter created Yu Yu Hakusho. So I think that it was pretty good. Yeah, it was better than... overall, it was better than most of this stuff. Better than Overlord. Yeah, better than Fairy Tail. Yes. Yeah. Okay, it's gonna be right behind Hunter x Hunter. Because they're very, not that they're similar, but they've got this similar style. Oh man. Okay, so Oshinoko. Oh yeah. Well, I wanted to say Yu Yu Hakusho. I want to talk about basically how like Yu Yu Hakusho has all these things of basically these guys who they get together and form a reluctant team, and they do spirit detective stuff. So like they destroy these S-class spirits or whatever, S-class demons, and it's just fantastic. Like Yusuke is one of the coolest characters in anime. He's very inspirational. And yeah, it's they enter this tournament that they have to fight. It's very solid, I will say. Oshinoko. I think I'm going to do a whole video on Oshinoko again. But I'm sorry that this is S tier. This is the best show that we've talked about so far. It's got intrigue, it's got suspense, it's got mystery, it's got cute girls or whatever. It's got wholesome. It's got some romance. It's got some, supernatural stuff. It's just amazing. Like, I just can't talk about how awesome it is because there are so many spoilers, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it's about this girl who has twins, and the twins grow up, and they are like her in a lot of ways. And it's fantastic because the idol is like, this girl who's an idol is like kind of transcendent. Like, everybody loves her. Like, everybody in the show is like, yeah, I love her. And it's very interesting because it tells the story of like what it's like to be in showbiz and the dark side of the industry. And I would definitely check it out, go watch it, and then watch my, all my reactions to it. Okay, so we gotta hit the best ones. Naruto Shippuden. It's my favorite anime of all time. I'm going to do a Naruto video eventually, but I've just been kind of like dreading it because like I don't want to ruin kind of like the mystique around it because it's my favorite show of all time. Obviously, if you don't know Naruto, then you're kind of lost. But it's a shonen show about a ninja who tries to become the best ninja in his village, and it's the greatest show of all time. Cowboy Bebop is like, dang, yeah, it's right behind it. I think those four are probably going to be the only S tier anime. Cowboy Bebop, I just did a video on this. It's about this show where this guy, Spike Spiegel, he is a bounty hunter, and they go through space in the year 2071, and they catch these wild criminals and stuff. And it's amazing. It's got this kind of, he used to be a member of this thing called the Syndicate. It was a crime organization, and it was fantastic because his like past keeps coming back to like haunt him and try to kill him, and so he has to like deal with that, and it's amazing. And then oh man, what is this show? Oh, Your Lie in April. I haven't seen enough. Sorry, Mirko-chan. Haven't seen enough. Bakemonogatari. Okay, so like I haven't seen enough, but it's so similar to Bunny Girl Senpai that I'm not really sure I'm gonna watch it. Like I want to, I'm trying to finish it, but like, and it's good. It's got great humor and stuff. I just think it's like, you know, Giguk says that popular YouTuber Giguk, he says that this show is like a precursor to Bunny Girl Senpai. Like Bunny Girl Senpai is a ripoff, but I saw Bunny Girl Senpai first, so I think that Bakemonogatari is sort of a ripoff, but I know it's not. Like I know that, you know, it's probably the other way around, but like it just feels that way, and so I can't get that out of my head. Dang, Odd Taxi. This is such a good show. Like that's so hard, dude. As far as like my favorite shows, it's not that great, but like, yeah, I think it is better than Classroom of the Elite. It's a pretty solid show. It wraps up everything in 13 episodes. You know, the dialogue is on another level. Like, think of Quentin Tarantino. That is what the dialogue is like. Okay, so let's go down here. I just keep getting these shows that absolutely slap. Mob Psycho got it with a regular kid with psychic powers. He's very insecure. Man, this show, yeah, I'm sorry. It's got to go AA+. It's almost S tier, and objectively, I would say it's S tier. I would say it's top 10 anime of all time. But personally, it just doesn't land with me as hard as I think it does with other people. I think it's very touching, very emotional. The fights are crazy. They're cinematic. They're, you know, they're wild. They're insane. But I think that, you know, I did this. I said, is Mob probably the best character in anime? Probably. Yeah, I did a whole 6-minute video on it. As far as like well-rounded and kind of like, you know, accepting of his flaws, but like improving himself. Yeah, he's probably the best character in anime. Does that make it the best show? Personally, no, it's not my favorite, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe top 10. You know, I know I'm gonna get flamed for that. Cells at Work. You can watch this show, but yeah, it's probably better than all. Well, no. It's better than Romantic Killer. It's like these. It's like What's Going On in Your Body. These cells are like animated anime characters. Like the white, like the blood cells right there, and the white cell is right there. So they fight like infections and stuff. It's pretty cool. Haven't seen enough of Made in Abyss. High Card was such a letdown because like these cards give you special powers, but like it just, the story was trash. It was so bad. But it was like better than those. Like I'd watch it over Blue Lock probably. It was hard for me to finish that show. Inspector, haven't seen enough of. Urusei Yatsura. Whew. It's probably the lowest D tier on here. Like, it's definitely watchable. Like, it's definitely a show that I've watched and I could watch, but I just prefer not to because it's not good. but I won't say it's garbage because it's not garbage. It's actually kind of good. Oh, Assassination Classroom, garbage. About these kids that try to assassinate their teacher that's like this monster from space or whatever. And he says, I'm going to destroy the world unless you kill me. And he tries to teach them stuff, and he like teaches them how to like play baseball and like how to be smart and like how to get good grades. And it's like, that's kind of interesting, but Tokyo Revengers, a show about a guy who goes back in time basically to date his middle school girlfriend and fight these guys that are in a different gang to save basically the girl that he loves in the future. And so it's bad. It's garbage. It was pretty bad. Kotaro Lives Alone. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I'd put it behind. No, it's better than Yosai Yatsura and Vinland Saga. I'd probably watch it over Vinland Saga. My love story, yeah. Romantic Killer. Well, I've seen more Romantic Killer, so no. Code Geass. Man, I'm gonna have to like do a different tier list or something. Code Geass is A+. I binged the heck out of that thing, so it was pretty darn good. Yeah, it's A+. Basically a show about a guy who's really, really smart, and he takes over a whole country, or not a whole country, but he takes back the world, leads a revolution, and he does it with like mecha suits and stuff. So it's not bad, but he has this thing called a Geass that allows him to basically tell someone what to do, and that he can use it on one person. Like he can use it on that singular person only once, but he can use it on multiple people at a time. I got a cheat skill in Another World. This is kind of crazy, but it's one of my favorite anime right now. So it's like literally like not as good as these, but it's so solid about this guy who goes to another world, gets all kind of skills, but also he's super humble. And it's a very interesting show to watch because it's like this guy with ultimate power fantasy of everything he wants in life, and he's still humble somehow, some way, right? That would be impossible for us. Mashal, it's getting a lot better. It's funny, but like the fights have gotten a little bit better. It's pretty decent. You can put it in like high B. It's not better than these shows overall. Is it better than Psyche K? No. But I think that it's better than Fairy Tail. Yeah, that's fair. Better than Fairy Tail. Made It Suspicious. That's garbage. But it's probably better than those. Yeah. Oh, Tokyo Revengers is so bad. But it is a little bit more watchable than this stuff, honestly. I'll put it there. Darling in the Franxx, garbage. This show is like a mecha show, but it's just all fan service. It's pretty bad. I'll put it right there behind Dangers in My Heart. Yeah. Oh man, Lupin the Third. Okay, Bleach I have not seen enough of. I've only seen the first few episodes. Sorry. Quintessential Couples. Yeah, that's garbage. Trying to see. Oh, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's more watchable than most of these shows, but it's D tier. Like I'd rather watch these shows than I would that. Handyman Saito. I thought it was gonna be really good, but it's like I could probably watch it over this other stuff. Cells at Work. Probably. Oh man, Beast Tamer. This was terrible. It was absolute garbage isekai. Komi-san is like better than most of these, I'd say. Like I could probably watch it. But not better than like something like Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously. Oh, this show was garbage. Actually, yeah, it's just a hair more garbage than that. Yeah. And then, so we have some heavy hitters right here. Well, Hellsing's pretty good. Like, it's it's going to be watchable. So it's like better than all this stuff. It's highly watchable, I would say. You could easily watch it. And so I'm going to say basically that if you've got these like Uncle from Another World, oh, but yeah, if you got these, I would say that Lupin is definitely going up there as one of the best. Not like S tier, but like it's more watchable than I would say like Hunter x Hunter. So it's like low A tier, I would say. The stories in there of like these different like heists and things is pretty solid. The characters are great. It's just an enjoyable show for me. And like Lupin does detective stuff. He does, heist stuff. He does supernatural stuff. It's crazy. It's a show about a guy who basically is a gentleman thief and he steals stuff. And it's fantastic. One Punch Man as a whole was like probably A tier, like not as good as Lupin, but better than like these shows, I would say. And then Uncle from Another World, Isekai Oji-san. It's pretty freaking good. I'm not gonna lie. I watched this show so hard. It's like A+ tier. Is it better than Rent a Girlfriend? In my opinion, no. But I'm saying like personally, I enjoy it more than I enjoy the rest of these shows. So that's not a gripe against it. That's not like that's an objective fact. No, it's just a personal take. A guy who gets woken up from a coma after he was in another world for 17 years, still has his powers, and he basically just, like, we get to watch what happened to him in the other world because he just shows his nephew, and it's insane. But then his nephew is also in the show, and it's pretty funny. They do a bunch of great meta commentary. Okay, Shinobi no Itoki was really good. Like, it was solid A, low A. Like, you thought it was going to be bad, and like it was like this guy who's going to ninja school, finds out he's a ninja, and guess what? It absolutely goes insane. There's death everywhere, and like he trains to be a great ninja, and he eventually ends up not being that bad, and it's kind of a great show, honestly. Like, I was not expecting it. They threw every single fight at you. They did their entire best as like they could, and it worked. Like, they were saying, oh well, you think that this show's gonna suck, and that's what I was thinking about High Card, because High Card actually did kind of suck. Wherever it is, I watched too many anime. Where is High Card? Is High Card like here in the D? If I had a chat, I could literally ask the chat and see. Oh, High Card right there, low B. It is so much better than High Card. Like, it does everything. Like, High Card said it promised you a bunch of stuff, but it did not deliver, man. Shinobi no Itoki, dude, you should watch it if you like anime. If you like fighting anime. Chainsaw Man. Dun, 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 dun. It is, it's A tier. It's probably like, in my personal opinion, it's more enjoyable to watch than most of these shows. But I would say that, like, if I had a choice, I'd probably watch Jujutsu Kaisen. Just because, like, Chainsaw Man was a little bit weird for a little while, but it's pretty solid, very solid show. It's going to be a lot better. Bocchi the Rock, a show about high school girls who get into a band. It's amazing. It's incredible. It is one of the best, like, slice of life of all time. Thank you for sitting here with me and talking about anime. But I just do a quick overglance of, Naruto, my favorite show of all time, has some of the best characters in my favorite characters and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. Cowboy Bebop, objectively best anime in my opinion. Oshinoko, the best non-fighting anime there is, for sure. It's my favorite. There are just so many different things I could talk about. I'll probably do an episode on that, a video on that. Psycho Pass, amazing. So, top 10, Naruto, Cowboy Bebop, Oshinoko, Psycho Pass, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Mob Psycho, 100, Death Note, Rent a Girlfriend, and I guess Some of Love is War. That's pretty good. I've got 2 romance in there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shonen, which is fair because I'm a big shonen fan, you know. And then I got, you know, a mystery sort of type like deal in there a little bit, sort of a battle of wits. I also have, you know, these 2 rom-coms. So I think it's heavily shonen inspired. My favorite shows are, but I think that you could probably put it up there. You know, I might move Kakaguri, but I just think that like Uncle from Another World, I just think these shows are better. You know, I've grown a lot since then. But yeah, I mean, look through this list, and if you see that there's anything like out of place, be sure to like comment about it. I'm sure I got a lot of these wrong. Not a lot of them, but you know what I'm saying, like they could have gone one spot over, right? It's not perfect. But I think that, you know, this showcases my sort of favorite anime, what I think is good, what I think is trash, what I think is definitely watchable, but maybe not fantastic. And then stuff that's like not garbage, but I'm not going to watch it. And then stuff I really need to go and check out more. And so, yeah, and stuff that, do not watch that show. Vampire Dies in No Time. Don't watch that show. Love Flop. Don't watch that show. Girlfriend. Don't watch that show. These shows. Don't watch these shows. Okay? They're trash. Sorry. Not sorry, really. But yeah, I will say that these are the heavy hitters. Like, you've got Cowboy Bebop, objectively one of the best anime of all time. My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, possibly the best shonen of all time. Not really, but like maybe they could be. Naruto, one of the big 3. Okay. Death Note, probably the greatest thriller anime of all time. Mob Psycho 100, a modern classic. People will say it will go down. Maybe it's the top 10 anime of all time. Kaguya-sama Love is War, probably the best romance anime of all time. Rent a Girlfriend, I love it. And it's just, honestly, it's in the top 10 just because it's my personal favorite. One of my personal favorites. You know, masterpiece. Hell's Paradise, it is slapping right now. Odd Taxi, probably the best mystery anime there is ever. And probably the best isekai. Well, if you count this as an isekai, Uncle from Another World, then yeah. But this one, probably the best isekai anime. The best Chinese anime right there. Yeah, and then you've got some heavy hitters, another sort of Cowboy Bebop not spin-off, but like director style show. Slice of Life, the best slice of life, it's Bocchi the Rock. And then you've got like, okay, one of the greatest anime of all time, you know, Dragon Ball Z, Attack on Titan, another one. You know, Jujutsu Kaisen probably will be potentially the greatest anime as far as shonen goes. Chainsaw Man, probably one of the most outrageous anime of all time. Probably one of the most hyped up anime of all time, Spy Family. You've got an absolute classic in Lupin. And I'm talking about parts 4 through 6, honestly. Sorry, those are the ones that I watched. Part 3 is not bad, but I'm not going to watch it. Some solid romance shows. One Punch Man. Kind of a sneak right there. Shinobi no Toki. And then stuff that, you know, is solid. Those are some good shows. Better than the watchable shows. Like stuff you can watch. Stuff that is better than just plainly watching. But maybe not be like super solid. So yeah, I have seen over 127 different anime. These are all of those anime. So if you enjoyed this, please make sure to subscribe. And I guess that's pretty much all for right now.